Okay, so the Leafs' recent performance might not be boosting travel to Toronto, but that has not stopped tourism.
That's right. A new report today from Destination Toronto has unveiled that a record 28.2 million visitors arrived in the city last year. The visits led to $9.1 billion in spending, 37% of that coming from the U.S. and international markets. So
joining us live now for more on the state of our city's tourism is Andrew Weir, President and CEO of Destination Toronto. Andrew, I have to ask you, when these figures came out for 2025, were you surprised? Were you expecting this? Or is this something that, you haven't seen in a while?
I think we've known for a long time what an engine tourism is for our city, and it's easy to overlook on a day like today when it's snowbanks everywhere. But even today, there's thousands of visitors in the city, either for meetings or for business travel, or even just to come have a great meal or see some theater or something like that. And we've seen that the economic power, especially in this era of a lot of volatility. A lot of export sectors are really struggling right now, but tourism is proving to be a very resilient sector. And so that international growth that we're seeing has been very important and has really contributed to the economy significantly.
Andrew, are you able to read into that international growth in terms of, reasons why people are coming here? Look, I'm well aware there is plenty of reasons to come to Toronto, amazing attractions, destinations, etc. But I'm wondering if part of it may be a rejection of south of the border. Can you temper or tell whether or not people are just choosing Toronto, Canada over, American destinations?
Yeah, the things that have always made Toronto a compelling destination continue to, but I think you're right. There is definitely a level of travelers looking for a place they know they'll feel welcome, that they know that they will not only have a great experience, but they'll feel safe traveling. And that's where Canada has a real opportunity to win right now. And we're seeing that translate with a lot of Canadian travelers traveling more across their country, which is great, and removing some of that travel deficit, moving more towards keeping that business at home. But we're seeing it on the international side too. Two of the markets that saw the highest growth last year were the UK and Germany, where we've been heavily invested in growing awareness, growing Toronto's visibility. And so when you see 10 and 12% growth from those markets, I think that's partly about Toronto's visibility growing, and also because it's the right moment for this kind of experience and this kind of destination where people know they'll feel comfortable.
And when we look back at 2025, it was quite a special year. We had those 6 concerts from Taylor Swift, and we know that she is an economy in herself. We also had the Blue Jays World Series, a lot of back and forth with fans, I guess, from LA and other cities that we played against. So how much do you think it was kind of an anomaly, because we had a lot of big things going on, several concerts at Rogers Stadium as well with Coldplay?
The thing about Toronto is there's big exciting things every year. Last year we had the World Series. Maybe we'll have one again. But we've got the World Cup coming up this year, and in 24 we had Taylor Swift, but Rogers Stadium, for example, the new concert venue, is really driving thousands and thousands of visitors into the city, and we see that economic impact in some of these tourism numbers because people increasingly travel for what they're passionate about. If they want to go see a baseball game, they want to see a concert, that's what motivates the trip in many cases. And we're well positioned as a city because we've got some of that infrastructure growing to attract more people. So that's going to continue. The World Cup will be a real catalyst this year as well. And we've just got to keep attracting what's next and what's next. And part of that is not just concerts and sports, but also meetings and conventions. Those are huge drivers of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of visitors into the city that have a tremendous impact when they're here.
Yeah, Andrew, you've been in this role for years now, and I've talked to you multiple times, about this. I remember talking after the Raptors. We had the sort of global spotlight on for the Raptors in the NBA championships. Now, like you mentioned, FIFA, Jays World Series. How does the city you can't plan for events like this necessarily, but about FIFA, for example, this year. How does the city then plan to capitalize and try to bring those tourists back again when we don't have such big events?
Well, it really is about the immediate and the later. We've got to look at it through both lenses. So in the near term, whether it's a World Series or the World Cup, there will be tens of thousands of visitors here for these kinds of events. And that has tremendous spending impact in the moment they're here. But there's also a long tail to that, because these are visitors that see the city at its best, and they will share great stories. They want to come back again. But there's also the broadcast side of it. That first match for the World Cup on June the 12th will have over 1 billion people watching. And it's the only match in that time slot. So that's 1 billion people around the world seeing Toronto in mid-June. City will look great, the energized. That's commercial time you just can't buy. And so this helps us build not only the economic impact of the visitor spending when those visitors are here, but it just continues to build for the long term.
Yeah, and let's not forget the diversity and friendliness of our city and the many people who visit, because they've got friends and family here as well. All right, Andrew Weir, President and CEO of Destination Toronto. Great of you to join us and talk about this good news for our city. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Andrew.